Male God is always targeted. Chapter 1, Classmate, Tom Sue understands a. www.ntlnovel.com, the fastest update, Kwai Chuan Tiao Xin, Male God is always the latest chapter. The noisy cafeteria was crowded with men and women in beige uniforms. Luo Mio, Ling, stood in the corner with her plate. Qing Jun's face was full of struggle. But there was a constant urging voice in his head. Host, hurry up, the target will come in soon. If you don't go, you will be preempted by the protagonist, and the mission will fail. The eager tone made Luo Mio's expression even more tangled. Looking at the gate, I saw 3 boys with very different styles, outstanding looks, and noble temperament walking in. As they approached step by step, and seeing that they were about to reach the stairs, Luo Mio's heart swayed, holding a plate full of food, and quickly ran out. Ah, let's go ahead, let's go, it's very hot. The 3 of Zhong Yujin were about to go upstairs when they were shouted and stopped subconsciously and looked back. Banging. Bang. The sound of heavy objects colliding and dishes falling to the ground made the noisy canteen, at this moment, hear the quiet breathing. Luo Mio covered her forehead with a bitter face, and a thin mist of water appeared in her beautiful phoenix eyes. It was so painful. Is this chest in front of you made of iron? He now understands what is going on in the novels where the heroine/Xiao Shou bumps into the male lead/Xiao Gong's tearful plot. It's not that they are too weak, it's that the enemy is too strong. He quickly took 2 steps back and apologized weakly. I'm sorry, I didn't mean to. I did it on purpose, I thought. Zhong Yujin had a cold face and was in a very bad mood. Not only was he aching where he was hit, but he was still wet. After all, an entire dinner plate was dedicated to his clothes. Luo Mio saw that the surroundings were still as quiet as chickens, and the air in front of him was a little cold, so he cautiously raised his head and peeked at the person he bumped into. White limited edition shirts are now available in multiple shades of color. The hem is still dripping with water. Heartbroken for a second. That classmate, I'm really sorry, I'm willing to compensate. Zhong Yujin sneered, pay. Can you afford to pay? Luo Mio trembled involuntarily, considered it for a while, and said tentatively, yes, let's pay. Can you afford it? What do you pay, do you? Zhong Yujin seemed to have heard a big joke and looked up and down at the person 2 steps away. He was small and frail, and at first glance he was pitiful. But those eyes were like Bambi's. Heart scalded. Luo Mio tried to explain as if he was about to penetrate his line of sight, you misunderstood, classmate, I mean to pay for it. The original owner's family was very rich. Although this big man's family is also very rich, but a piece of clothing, even if it is a limited edition, should still be affordable. Fortunately, the system didn't require that he should be the same as the male protagonist. Then he must rebel. Forgot to introduce Luo Mio, a little rookie, who was just bound by the system. In the novels that are deeply resented by readers, such as various Mary Sue and Tom Sue campuses, dog-blooded presidents, and sadomasochistic love between the Virgin and the Holy Father, the protagonist will go 1 step ahead of the specific plot. Let the blood of the rotten street become clear. New. Take off. Vulgar. Dog blood. Raiders abuse scum and slap in the face. Dispel the grievances of readers. This article is Danmei, the main subject, Su Susu, sweet pet, counterattack strategy for slapped face and abused scum. Love at first sight. Love at first sight. Love at first sight. Important things said 3 times. The protagonist is good at disguise, black-bellied, not a novice, not a virgin. If there are any loopholes in the plot, you are welcome to raise them, and refuse to talk nonsense. This is the first time to write pure Danmei. There may be many problems. Chen will try to avoid it. I hope the little angels will be harmonious and friendly. There are many stories and various tastes, welcome to jump into the pit. But radishes and vegetables each have their own preferences. If you don't like it, please leave silently, and don't leave a message to block me. In the end, everyone should read the text rationally and communicate in a civilized manner. If you have to make trouble without reason, then Chen can only pull black and report it. Male God is always targeted. Chapter 2, Classmate, Tom Sue understands a. www.mtlnovel.com, the fastest update, Kwai Chuan Tiao Xin, Male God is always the latest chapter. Zong Yujin put away the indifference and carefully examined the person in front of him. He was wearing the most common school uniform, and the white sneakers on his feet looked like a pair of 100 or 200 yuan in the store. Other than that, there are no other decorations. On the most expensive level of the school uniform, I dare to say that I will pay for it with money. Really, beyond your own power. But being looked at by those wet eyes, Zong Yujin couldn't spit out the vicious words that came to his mouth. Luo Mio would really feel tormented. The male protagonist kept staring at him. What was he going to do? It won't be, think about making yourself his servant. Immediately raised his head and shouted, classmate. Seeing the other party staring at him, as if waiting for him to write, he said quickly. I'm really rich. How much is your clothes? I'll give it to you right away. So don't think about making me suffer the same way as the protagonist, running errands for you. Zong Yujin narrowed his eyes. He thought, he just said something wrong. The most expensive thing in his body is not the school uniform, but the face and the eyes. Previously, due to the height difference and angle between the two, he did not see his appearance clearly. In addition, I was attracted by those eyes first, so I didn't pay enough attention. At this moment, he raised his head and let him see clearly. Only. He looked up and down again, his sharp eyes firmly fell on his face, trying to see a little joke from above. But there was nothing but nervousness. And that nervousness was also a fear that he wouldn't accept the money. Zong Yujin finally became interested, his eyebrows moved slightly. You can't tell how much money you are you sure you can pay? The conversation changed. Well, for your poor sake, I don't want your money either. Come and serve me as a servant and pay off the debt. Exclamation point. Luo Mio's eyes widened, round and full of disbelief. He said he was going to lose money. Why did the plot still go back to going to be a servant for the male protagonist? Dissatisfied. The thought of being called by the male protagonist and making things difficult in the future made Luo Mio feel hairy. This kind of thing can never be agreed. He took it out in his pocket, took out a stack of checks, and stuffed it into Zong Yujin. Hey, I'll give you the money, we've settled, goodbye. After speaking, he ran and left the cafeteria in the blink of an eye. Zong Yujin. Hee hee. I didn't expect this kid to be so interesting, right, Jean? Lan Zi, who had been raising her lips, couldn't help laughing out loud, looking at the direction Luo Mio left. Her eyes were filled with tenderness like sea water. Just now, he didn't interrupt from beginning to end, thinking that it was another means of attracting their attention. Did not expect. Zong Yujin glanced at Lan Zi lightly, then turned to leave. Hey. Jean, where are you going? You haven't eaten yet. Qin Yiyang shouted suspiciously. Lan Zi patted Qin Yiyang's hand and dragged him to follow. Jean, go change clothes. Wearing such a suit, even if you have no cleanliness, you can't stand it. Today's Jean seems to be different from before. Qin Yiyang was suddenly reminded by Lan Zi. Z, do you think the person who bumped into Jean just now looks familiar? He was originally very impatient with this kind of thing, but this time it was unprecedentedly quiet to the end. It's because I feel like I've seen him somewhere, but I can't remember it for a while. Lan Zi thought about it and shook his head. He didn't have much impression of the child, and he probably had never seen it before. With the departure of several people, the canteen resumed its noise again, even worse than before. Wen Ran, who also wanted to touch porcelain with a dinner plate hidden in the crowd, had pale and tense fingers. Male God is always targeted. Chapter 3, Classmate, Tom Sue understands a. www.mtlnovel.com, the fastest update, Kwai Chuan Tiao Xin, Male God is always the latest chapter. God, who was that just now, who dared to offend our Prince Jean, but he is so cute and beautiful. Yes, standing with Prince Jean, the picture is really beautiful. Humph, what beauty is beautiful, but a commoner who wants to attract the attention of Prince Jean, bitch. The prince's support group will not let him go, he is finished. But he didn't do anything. Not only did he apologize, but he also stuffed Prince Jean with a lot of checks. Maybe it's fake, well, just wait and see what happens to him. The chatter around him kept drifting into Wenran's ears, and the strength in his hands increased. Asshole. It should have been that he bumped into it, then apologized, asked for compensation, found that he could not afford it, and offered to clean it up for him, thereby increasing the connection between the two. Then, he can slowly make Zhong Yujin fall in love with him. Now the plan is ruined and preempted, This account must be counted. Hatch, hatch. Luo Miao hid in the grove, rubbed her nose, and looked up at the sky 36 degrees. Tongner, you say, is the male protagonist planning how to deal with me? The system was silent for a while, then made a sound. Ding. Congratulations to the host for completing the first dog blood plot point, enabling the talent skill, primary, metaphysics. Luo Miao was stunned, metaphysics. Is that what he meant? Quickly click on the virtual panel to view the above information. Name, metaphysics. Level, beginner, intermediate, advanced. Skill outline, mountain, medicine, fate, divination, and phase, collectively referred to as the 5 metaphysical arts. Under the eyes of the host, all the dark and dirty tricks have nowhere to hide. The intermediate level can see the yin and yang, which is a blessing in disguise. Advanced can be isolated from life. It is defined by all living beings as the mysterious and the door to all wonderful things. Remarks: to upgrade the form skills, please make persistent efforts to complete the task and become a master-level metaphysics master. Luo Miao's eyes lit up. This skill is really awesome. Just looking at it, you can know what the other party is going to do. For a newcomer like him, it is very friendly and satisfying. Depressed and left behind, he happily hummed a song and went out to school for dinner. The man is mainly looking for trouble or something. He has a plug-in, which is true. Luo Miao, who swelled for a second, just came out of the grove when the excited voice of the system came again, and his face immediately collapsed. Host, hurry up, the second dog blood plot is here, hurry up. Hide behind a tree and look forward with the probe. Where the ginkgo leaves fell, stood a man and a woman. The man is very familiar to him, and he just touched him just now. The woman was not impressed. She was holding a pink envelope in her hand. She just wanted to confess without guessing. It's just the object of the confession, his face is very cold, and his whole body exudes an aura of impatience. Luo Miao quickly recalled the information about this world, a typical kind of campus. Xiaoshu Wenran came from a poor family and was admitted to a noble academy with excellent grades. Among a group of wealthy children, there is an outlier, which is naturally unpopular. After a while, he was isolated. Once in the cafeteria, he accidentally bumped into the school's ruthless Prince Zhong Yujin. He, who has little research on luxury brands, asked the other party to take off his clothes and wash them, which aroused the interest of the prince and was turned into a servant to pay off his debts. In this plot, Luo Miao has already left. The next one should be the new servant and the male owner going to the locker room, taking the dirty clothes that the other party changed, and meeting a passerby who confessed on the way out. The male protagonist's refusal is ugly and makes the girl cry. Wenran couldn't bear to blame the male protagonist, and persuaded the girl not to love such a bad person. So, is he going to accuse the male protagonist and persuade the girl now? Will he be killed by the hero? Male God is always targeted. Chapter 4, Classmate, Tom Su understands A. www.mtlnovel.com, the fastest update, Kwai Chuan Tiao Xin, Male God is always the latest chapter. When I read the introduction, I felt very bloody, but now in it, Luo Miao just wanted to vomit blood. What kind of intelligence is the male lead in this story? It was terrifying to tolerate Xiaoshu's various behaviors. If I want to be him, I've long been indifferent, and I still think it's funny. He kept complaining in his heart, but his steps were honestly moving towards the two of them. Hey, I said, why are you so bad, bullying other girls, are you embarrassed? He walked up to the crying sad girl, took out a tissue and wiped the tears on her face gently, with a gentle voice. Girls don't look good when they cry, and their makeup wears off. You are so beautiful, and your tears must be jealous of you before they want to destroy your beauty. How can you let it succeed, darling, don't cry. Probably because Luo Mio's voice was too soothing, or because his actions were too cherished, the girl immediately stopped her tears. Looking at him with bright red eyes, at that moment, the handsome boy who smiled like the sun was deeply imprinted in the girl's heart. Zhong Yujin narrowed his eyes dangerously, feeling inexplicably unhappy in his heart. It was as if something that belonged to him was coveted. The words out of the mouth also became yin and yang. I didn't expect that you not only like to cause trouble, but also like to meddle in business. Huh? Luo Mio paused, turned around in surprise, pointed at himself, and dared not believe. You said me? Zhong Yujin nodded. Luo Mio is so angry. Since when did he love to make troubles and meddle in his own business? This is obviously the system's fault, he doesn't bear it. Zhong Yujin saw him with a broken face, staring at himself, his reflections inside, and he was in a good mood. Because you are so self-aware, I kindly inform you that the check you gave is not enough, and the rest will be my valet for a month to pay off the debt. Luo Mio exploded. How is that possible? Is that dress you wore by the emperor? Like Jin Guicheng. The check he gave was already as high as 10 million, and he still said that it was not enough. Did he have any misunderstanding about money? 10 million, isn't it a lot, a lot? Obviously he has a general understanding of the market price of that dress, which is less than 10 million. Tonger, tell me, how much is that dress? Taking a deep breath, he waited anxiously for the news that shattered his little heart. The host is very happy to tell you that the money you gave for that dress is enough to pay for it. Luo Mio was relieved, it was okay. But the male protagonist is very expensive, and there is no ceiling. Just after taking a breath, the system took another turn, and Luo Mio's whole body was not well. What do you mean by not capping? Also, what does this have to do with that dress? Zhong Yujin watched with interest the face of the person on the other side, and the hand in his trouser pocket couldn't help but move. It's a little itchy, and I want to pinch it to see how he makes so many rich expressions. I don't care. Anyway, I have already paid you the market price. You can't trouble me. Luo Mio pursed her lips and opened her mouth angrily. In the face of evil forces, he will never compromise, otherwise. He will be poor. Oh. Although he hid his identity as a wealthy young master and came to the school to grab the protagonist's plot, it doesn't mean that he really wants to become poor. If you have money and suffer, that's a fool. He is smart, not so stupid. In seconds, he raised his chin intentionally, and his proud appearance made Zhong Yujin's chest warm. So cute. It's really different from those coquettish before. Cough cough. He covered his lips with his hand, covering the raised arc. Male God is always targeted. Chapter 5, Classmate, Tom Su understands a. www.mtlnovel.com, the fastest update, Kwai Chuan Tiao Xin, Male God is always the latest chapter. Hey, it's none of my business that you have a cold, don't buckle it on me, or you will turn your face. Luo Miao immediately jumped away, staring at Zhong Yujin vigilantly. There is no such plot in the data at this time, he must hide away. Looking sideways at the girl next to her who didn't cry anymore and seemed stupid, classmate, look, such a vile big devil is not worth liking at all. Let's stop liking him, and find someone who will find you good and like you. Don't be sad for this kind of incomprehensible elm knot. The confused elm knot, the great devil, Zhong Yujin's eyes darkened. What a sharp-toothed little fox. No matter what the other party was thinking, Luo Mio raised her eyebrows happily after seeing the girl nodding and smiling at her with relief. Another plot point. Get square root. Rubbing the girl's head, you will definitely be happy, be happy. After speaking, he turned to the male protagonist, who had been emitting cold air and had an ugly face, and grinned widely. Student, see you next time. I silently added in my heart, I hope you won't be mad at me next time. Slip away very fast, without taking a single ginkgo leaf. When Ran, who appeared not far away at some unknown time, had viciousness in his eyes. It's him again. It's him again. Damn. Why is he everywhere? Asshole. Looking at the empty space, Wen Ran cursed all the 18 generations of Luo Miao's ancestors in his heart. There are only 3 good things. Next time he is doing something bad to him, he must make him look good. Hatch, hatch. Luo Miao rubbed her nose, lying on the glass window with all kinds of cakes on display, complaining to the system while swallowing. Tonger, look, this is the second time, the male protagonist must be thinking about how to punish me, your skills are useless at all. Can you see through all conspiracies and tricks? When he met the male protagonist, he didn't see anything. Boss, I want this, 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 and this and this. He ordered 10 small cakes with different flavors and very delicious appearances in one go, completely ignoring the gazes of those around him. He is now hungry enough to eat a cow. Host, you really look like some kind of animal. Luo Miao rolled her eyes gracefully, took the plate from the boss, and walked to the table by the window to sit down. Don't change the subject for me, you haven't answered me the question of skills, Tanger, you have to have a conscience, you know. I dug a mouthful of the matcha-flavored cake and fed it into my mouth. The delicate sweetness sprinted into my mouth, and my eyes narrowed happily. Good to eat. He has never eaten such a delicious cake. Of course, he had never eaten such an expensive, indifferent face. Host, I'm not a human being, and I don't need conscience. In addition, the products produced by the system must be high-quality products. The implication is that it is useless to you, it is all your problem. Cough cough cough. Luo Miao choked and patted his chest, heartbroken. Tonger, you have learned badly, and you are no longer the Tonger I know. He dug out a large spoonful and ate it, his cheeks bulging and off, it was really cute. Zhong Yujin felt that they really had a fate. In one day, I met 3 times. Hey, isn't that the little guy who bumped into Jean earlier? Qin Yiyang said in surprise. Lan Zi smiled and nodded, really, are you going to say hello, Jean? As early as Zhong Yujin noticed the other party, he found out. This was the first time Jean took the initiative to pay attention to a person. Fun, fun. Male God is always targeted. Chapter 6, Classmate, Tom Su understands a. www.mtlnovel.com, the fastest update, Kuai Chuan Tiao Xin, Male God is always the latest chapter. Zhong Yujin stared at Lan Zi, and said lightly after a while. Go, why don't you go, he still owes me something. Hatch, hatch. Luo Miao's nose was red from being rubbed, her eyes glowing with saline solution, she blinked. Crystal teardrops hang on the long and curled eyelashes, with confused eyes, slightly open red lips, innocent and charming, the whole is a monster. Those who noticed it all stared blankly. There is charm in cuteness, and innocence in charm. So tempting. Luo Miao didn't notice this, wrinkled her nose and bulged her cheeks even more. Tanger, I want to complain to you, the male protagonist is too cruel, what kind of spicy chicken golden finger are you? Bad review. After so long, the male protagonist is still plotting against him, which is really stingy. The system being questioned was very dissatisfied and rose up in anger. You eat chicken, it's obviously your problem, the host of Spicy Chicken. Spicy Chicken System. Spicy Chicken Host. You. Luo Miao exploded in anger, his family system is too jerk. The system of slightly is extremely awkward. Want to dump it? No way. Luo Miao only felt a pain in her chest, and she felt even more distressed about her own system. Just as he was about to say something, a large hand with well-defined joints appeared in front of him holding a glass of milk. Looking up, question mark. Exclamation point. The male lead. Tingdi stood up and pointed at the other party, I don't owe you money, I'm out of money, don't blackmail me. He is so poor. There are only more than 20 million in the whole body. If you can't stand extortion, you will die of poverty. Zhong Yujin looked at the person in front of him who looked like a flood and beast, his face was as cold as ice. The hand holding the cup tightened, the blue veins looming. Liang glared at Luo Miao, put down the cup heavily, and turned to leave, exuding cold air. I was so mad at him that it was rare for him to be kind, but he didn't appreciate it. Lan Zi and Qin Yeyang looked at each other, feeling a little inexplicable. Why did you suddenly turn around? Wasn't it just fine? Seeing that he seemed to be choking, he immediately bought milk and delivered it. In the blink of an eye, why did it change? Luo Miao was also very puzzled. Watching the male protagonist leave, I reflected in my heart, when did he provoke him again? Looking at the cup on the table, could it be the reason why he didn't drink milk? Then he drank the milk in one gulp and shook the empty glass in front of the two who had not had time to leave. Classmates, are you friends? You testify. I drank the milk. You must tell that guy. Lest he think I don't know what's good or bad, and make another note. I don't know how many crosses he drew in his small books, hey. Life is really hard. Lan Zi and Qin Yeyang looked at the person who stopped them. From nervousness at first, to depression, to heartbreak, their expressions changed, which was extremely interesting. Hey, don't you think this kid is really interesting? Qin Yeyang quietly abducted Lan Zi and said in a low voice. Lan Zi nodded slightly in agreement. I don't know your name, classmate. I'm Lan Zi. Next to me is Qin Yeyang. Nice to meet you. Facing Luo Miao, his voice was gentle. Luo Miao looked over and smiled, I'm Luo Miao, and it's nice to meet you too. The smile was sweet, holding the cup, like the rising sun, warmed to the heart. Zhong Yujin, who found that his friend didn't keep up with him and fell back, held his chest involuntarily. Boom, 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 fast. What happened? Are you sick? What kind of disease makes the heart beat faster and the chest warms? Zhong Yujin was a little puzzled. Looking at the person not far away, his eyes were dark and deep. Male God is always targeted. Chapter 7, Classmate, Tom Su understands a. www.mtlnovel.com, the fastest update, Kwai Chuan Tiao Xin, Male God is always the latest chapter. He thought he needed to figure out what was going on. He took another look, turned and left. Afraid of him, this is not a good phenomenon. But Luo Miao touched her nose strangely, why did she feel itchy again? Is the hero thinking about him again? This mind is like the tip of a needle, man. Angrily, he returned to his seat, took another plate of cake, and continued to eat. Now only eating can make him happy. The neglected two Lan Zi were slightly heartbroken. They are also one of the three princes of the school. They are handsome and have a good family background. Whoever sees them is not eager to get together. This one is good, he completely treats them as telephone poles. Look at it when you need it, and ignore it when you don't need it. I don't know whether to cry or be helpless. Forget it, they should go after Jean. After Luo Miao finished eating all the small cakes, she sighed contentedly. So enjoyable. Come again next time. A leisurely stroll back to school to prepare for class. When he got to the school gate, he remembered that he seemed to have forgotten something. What? Can't remember. It's definitely not something important that I can't remember, In a blink of an eye, he put his doubts behind him and walked into the classroom with ease. Unlike the usual casual glances at him or ignoring them, dozens of pairs of eyes stared at him this time. Schadenfreude, contempt, disgust, curiosity, etc. You don't have to think about it to know what's going on. Luo Miao sighed inwardly, and walked towards his position without changing his face. Question mark. Where is his desk? Why are you missing? Strangely, someone touched his arm lightly, and he looked down to see that it was him at the same table. Seeing what he looked like, the other party quietly pointed to the corner of the back door of the classroom. Luo Miao looked along. A desk full of all kinds of rubbish. Just looking at it is very dirty and disgusting. After 2 seconds of silence, he said tentatively, "That's mine." The tablemate nodded sympathetically. Then he silently picked up the textbook to cover his face, pretending that he was reading the book very seriously, not talking to Luo Miao, afraid of being implicated. The corners of Luo Miao's mouth twitched, he was obviously different from the plot that the protagonist was taken away from. Why is this trend now? It is completely the trend that he wants to become the protagonist. First, the desk work was on duty, and then the toilet was splashed and beaten. This kind of treatment of the protagonist makes me shudder to think about it. Refuse. Aren't you very courageous? Why, you don't even dare to move the desk back now. A sharp female voice suddenly sounded, bringing a sarcastic laughter. The girls who danced the most in the class had already sat on the table at some point. They all looked at him with disgust, as if waiting for him to play. Look, you are so poor, you dare to play tricks on our Prince Jean, you don't know whether to live or die. This is just a small lesson. If we find out that you seduce Prince Jean again, we will kill you. Luo Mio originally listened casually, but when she got here, her eyes widened. What do they say? Prince Jean. What? When did he G.Y pass who, why didn't he know? Even if this world is derived from this Tanmei novel, it doesn't mean that he must like men. Although he never liked women But this is a matter of principle and must be explained clearly. I think you have misunderstood. I don't like Prince Jean as you say. As soon as the words fell, the door of the classroom was kicked open. Zhong Yujin, whose body was depressed, with an indifferent face and cold eyes, appeared in everyone's sight. Male God is always targeted. Chapter 8, Classmate, Tom Su understands a. www.mtlnovel.com, the fastest update, Kwai Chuan Tiao Xin, Male God is always the latest chapter. Although he didn't say anything and didn't show anything on his face, Luo Mio just felt that he was angry. So, did he come here on purpose because he was bullied? Did he really rob the protagonist of this role? Not so bad. Luo Miao was a little cowardly in her heart. Quiet Mimi glanced at Zhong Yujin and patted his chest in fear. Such a dark face. Such a heavy fire. Terrible, terrifying. Jean, Prince Jean. Facing Luo Mio's group of people who were showing their teeth and claws, they came back to their senses, quickly got off the table, and stood obediently, looking nervous, but their faces couldn't help but turn crimson. So handsome. Are you here to see them? Still. You, come with me. Zhong Yujin stared at Luo Miao coldly, his voice was cold, and he was in a very bad mood. Luo Mio was stunned, huh? Zhong Yujin's face turned even darker, he strode over, grabbed Luo Mio, and dragged him away. Luo Mio stumbled, almost knocking over his right foot with his left foot, and subconsciously clenched his big hand. With too much force, the rounded nails managed to leave a few marks on it. But Zhong Yujin didn't even blink, as if that didn't happen. Just slowed down a bit. Hey, where are you taking me? I'm about to go to class. Seeing that Luo Mio was getting further and further away from his classroom, he couldn't help crying. The first class in the afternoon was Shirtai's class, and he didn't want to be caught at all. Zhong Yujin ignored Luo Mio, and took the person directly into his class, dragging him to his position. Sit down and go to class. Luo Mio glanced around. Hey, Luo Mio, we meet again. Lan Zi in front greeted with a smile. Qin Yiyang also leaned his head from behind and said carelessly, Little Luo Mio, you are so partial, you only see Jean and ignore me and E. Hey. Luo Mio was stunned, what the hell? But I don't know if it's an illusion, he somehow feels like. The difficult-to-serve male protagonist around him has lost his air conditioning. Ding bell bell. When the class bell suddenly rang, Luo Mio was startled and wanted to run on a conditioned reflex. Before he could take a step, he was hooked by Zhong Yujin's neck, pressed firmly on the stool, and sat outside himself, blocking him and preventing him from going out. Luo Mio. I looked at the people, and then looked out the window. With a deep sigh, the man wilted and lay down on the table in despair. God will kill him. If he hadn't realized that he was following the path of the protagonist's follow-up, then he could really recreate it. But the conscience of heaven and earth, he really didn't have such an idea. I tangled my fingers, counting little by little which step I made a mistake. One class was so messed up. What, let's talk about it. Luo Mio poked Zhong Yujin's arm, thinking he was very tough. However, the other party came over with a look, and it was cold, and he immediately persuaded again. I'm going back to class, next, class is, starting. What responded to Luo Mio was a new stack of textbooks in front of him. As my follower, the first point is to be in the same class as me, understand? Zhong Yujin was pushing a pile of workbooks that he hadn't turned over, showing what he meant by his actions, no doubt about it. Luo Mio was stunned by this show, pointing at the pile of books that were taller than others, afraid to believe. You don't want me to write your homework and take notes, right? Seeing the other party nod, he exploded suddenly, stood up abruptly, and roared at Zhong Yujin. Thinking is so beautiful, why don't you dream? Male God is always targeted. Chapter 9, Classmate, Tom Su understands a. www.mtlnovel.com, the fastest update, Kwai Chuan Tiao Xin, Male God is always the latest chapter. He still wants someone to round up the homework, let him do it, who gives hope. Also, this young master doesn't owe you any money. If you deceive me again, believe it or not, I will talk to the police uncle to talk about life and ideals. Luo Mio was angry. Did this guy see him being bullied, so he ran into him? Okay, come on, let's see who kills who. Zhong Yujin turned sideways and folded his arms around his chest. He was clearly looking up, but no one thought he was inferior, but he had a forcing aura. Luo Mio, who was so arrogant, felt a little guilty when he was photographed. But when I saw the books piled up on the table, they rose again. What are you looking at? Don't think you are the only one with big eyes, hum. He glared at Zhong Yujin, raised his chin, get out of the way, I want to go over. If you don't go back, the second class will be skipped. We'll be taken to the office for training. Zhong Yujin stood up, everyone else thought he was going to get out of the way, but he just stood there and didn't mean to move. At a height of 1 meter 8, in front of Luo Mio, who was only 1 meter 8, he was a head taller than him. The two also changed from looking up to looking down. The aura was strong at first, but this time, it was Zhuosheng. Luo Mio, who was under pressure every minute, didn't dare to pant heavily. Silently swallowed, moved his feet, moved a safe distance without a trace, and wailed in his heart. What kind of bad luck did he have, to have such an unreasonable male protagonist? Heart congestion. It felt like a cloud over my head. Hey. Wait a minute, where's his golden finger? He stared at Zhong Yujin with piercing eyes, trying to see something different on his face. 1 minute passed, 2 minutes passed, 3 minutes passed, 5 minutes passed, and nothing changed. Frowning, is his golden finger really a spicy chicken? Garbage system, _, Class is over, the teacher is coming, don't make trouble. Lan Zi looked at the two with a funny look and said warmly. Really like a child. After going down the steps, Luo Mio knew how to adapt to current events and sat down quickly, not forgetting to justify himself. Okay, for Zi's sake, I won't care about you as much, and go to class first. Pick up the textbook and look serious. Zhong Yujin's deep eyes contained a hidden smile, and he sat down. He pulled out the book in his hand and put it in front of him. Luo Mio turned his head angrily, seeing this uncle, puffed up his face, and turned back depressed. Zhong Yujin was greatly delighted by this look of anger and dare not speak, and the corners of his flat lips were raised by 2 points, but no one saw it. After finally getting through to school, this time Luo Mio didn't wait for someone stupidly. As soon as the teacher left, he jumped on the stool and turned over from the empty table behind. As soon as he landed, he grimaced at Zhong Yujin, who didn't seem to have expected him to do this, and looked surprised, a little bit. Before the other party caught him, he quickly jumped to the door. Sample, you still want to bully me, but there's no way. After a bit of contempt, he disappeared at the door with a squeak all over his body. Zhong Yujin looked at the empty door, narrowed his eyes dangerously, and whispered softly, I'm really looking forward to you more and more. Hearing this, Lan Zi laughed inexplicably. It seems that the days after this are interesting. Hey, have you heard that at noon today, Prince Ji Jin's person was taken away by Prince Jin to be the same table? Really? That's really gone. Luck, jealous. I also know that he has turned the world upside down now and has entered the eyes of Prince Jin. Male God is always targeted. Chapter 10, Classmate, Tom Sue understands a. www.mtlnovel.com, the fastest update, Kwai Chuan Tiao Xin, Male God is always the latest chapter. I have a friend who is in Prince Jin's class. He told me earlier that Prince Jin treats him very differently and envy a group of people. Real or fake? Of course it's true. Don't you know that Prince Jin's support group is already planning to clean him up? The sound of the conversation drifted away, when Rand stood on the path, his arms holding the book tightly tightened. The person who stole his limelight was so lucky. If it was him at the time, wouldn't it be himself who caught Zhong Yujin's eyes now? At that time, he will still have to look at the faces of these people. How dare others say that he is a poor man and does not deserve to be in the same place as them? She pursed her lips, her eyes filled with resentment. If that person can do it, then he can do it too. Looking back at the teaching building, he left quickly. He needs to double down on the planning to make sure nothing goes wrong. Host, hurry up, the plot point is here, hurry up. Early in the morning, Luo Mio got up sleepily, and before she left the house, a magic sound pierced her ears, and she woke up instantly. Looking closely, there is no male protagonist around except for the grandma who is an office worker who buys food. Tonger, won't your conscience hurt? Spicy chicken host. Luo Mio snorted softly, and stopped paying attention to the system, rubbing her eyes, and crossing the road to buy breakfast. Boss, a bag of soy milk and 2 vegetable buns. The clearer male voice made people's ears move amidst the noise. Luo Mio stopped and looked up. Ah, the male lead suffers. The sight floated to the things in his hands, soy milk, steamed buns. There seems to be no such thing in the plot point. It is only the beginning of the rice dumping, the node has passed, and now the system still reminds, what does it mean? Then I bought a cup of soy milk and 2 buns, and fell behind them. After a while, he arrived at the school gate. Ah. The third prince. Prince Jin. Prince Yi Yang. Ah. Prince Yi. Look at me, look at me. Nonsense, Prince Jin is clearly looking at me. Prince Yi is so handsome. The harsh screams and shouts made Luo Mio choked with a bun in his throat, which was very uncomfortable. He patted his chest and looked sullenly. 3 very coquettish sports cars parked in front, just blocking the school gate. A group of excited girls continue to be crazy about the car. Luo Mio! Exclamation point. The plot point is too early. He remembered that it should be a week later that the male protagonist asked Xiaoshou Wenran to bring him breakfast and wait at the school gate, attracting the onlookers of the school students. When Wenran came, because of the crowd, he was pushed down and fell right in front of Zhong Yujin. The soy milk in his hand smeared his shoes, and the buns stuck to the windshield of his sports car. The scene is very beautiful. At the same time, Wenran also twisted his foot. It's just that he gritted his teeth and endured it and didn't show it, but his stubborn appearance was deeply imprinted in the eyes of the male protagonist. It was also at this time that the male protagonist really fell in love with him. Luo Mio swallowed the buns and sucked the soy milk fiercely to ease the discomfort in his throat. Before I knew it, I was finished drinking. Stupidly, he held up the empty paper cup in front of his eyes, his mind stuck. This is an important prop for later, so he just finished drinking it. Mom. But at this moment, he has followed the male protagonist into the crowd, and it is not easy to squeeze out if he wants to buy a cup. Especially if there is an incident of touching porcelain at any time, I dare not leave. How can this be done? As he was turning around in a hurry, he caught sight of Wenran and fell forward. Luo Mio subconsciously shouted, "Let me go. Chen, the new book is beautiful, and the little angel who doesn't like it will take a detour. Also, little angels, happy Valentine's Day, ******. Finally, hand in the tickets. If you don't pay the ticket, I won't give you a kiss, carrot.